How you doing?
The time is 7 p.m. Are you on?
I am.
The time is 7 p.m. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for November 19th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Gary Adler,
Present.
Leslie Davis, absent. Joe Kraft,
Present.
Now rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have any changes for the agenda, Jim?
No.
We want to do an executive session towards the end, since we don't have a meeting here tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to modify the agenda to put number 9, executive session, after announcements, after number 13 on the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Yes.
Second. Roll call, please.
Gary Adler,
Yes?
Leslie Davis is absent. Joe Kraft.
Yes.
Okay, with Mr. Caldwell not here, we have Mrs. Bollinger in his place tonight. Do we have any minutes?
No, there are no.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to do the fiscal officer report and approval of warrants?
Yes, Robert said he needs a motion to approve the warrants per the pending warrant report, warrants 45136 through 45182, and warrants 94128 through 924133. And he certifies that there are sufficient funds to pay the warrants as listed on the attached pending warrant report. He requests a motion to approve the warrants for payment.
I move that we approve the warrants.
Second. Roll call, please.
Gary Adler,
Yes.
Leslie Davis is absent. Joe Kraft.
Yes.
Do we have any public participation on the clipboard there? Mr. Stone, if you'd like to...
There's no one signed up on public comments, Brad.
No? Okay. Is there anybody in the audience at this time that would like to make any public comments? Not, we'll move on. Public Safety Officer is here this evening. Please come up, state your name.
I'm Deputy Snyder. With all the major construction done, I don't have anything to report, but do you guys have anything for me to take back?
Just the usual concerns about speeding in some of the residential areas, but I think we've addressed that in the past. And I guess I heard that this detour was going to be done by today, but apparently it isn't.
The Mitchell.
Yeah, the Mitchell with the year.
It's open to 2 lanes now, so the problems we're having with it.
Okay, so the signs are still up, but it's
Yes,
open.
yeah, it's open for this.
Because a couple days ago, Mr. Stouts reported to me that they just had to do the striping and put some signs up to reopen it, but apparently that's done. Okay, appreciate that.
The only thing I think that I'll add is that I notified the lieutenant a while back, just as a reminder, if you guys could keep an eye out, especially since it's darker sooner, that we still get the sense that our parking lot's being used in the middle of the night. And yeah, we understand it's a public parking lot, but if the business is closed and the park's closed, we really don't want people hanging out here. I think it's just a bad thing. So if anybody's here,
Absolutely.
they just need to move on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Be safe out there.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
You too.
Okay. can move right along into the administrator report. Mr. Stanley, would you like to do that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Adler. Earlier today, the fire chief told me that he had received and reviewed the annual Washington Township mutual aid agreement. He reviewed it. He doesn't find any changes from last year's. That one was previously reviewed by legal as well. And so he is asking for permission to sign that. It's just an annual thing, and it's a good thing, so I have no issue with it. It's the same one. from
Yeah, I'm
last year.
okay. If you direct the chief to,
Okay.
I don't know if we need a motion or.
Yeah, I think we should make a motion
Probably.
because
Okay.
in the past it's taken board approval to do with mutual aid contracts.
Sure. So I move that we have Chief Stewart sign on behalf of the township mutual aid agreement with Washington Township. Sorry, I'm talking awfully fast. I need to give that time to catch up. Sorry, Deb.
Second the motion. Are you ready? Roll call, please.
Barry Adler,
Yes.
Michael Davis is absent, and Joe Kraft.
Yes.
Next up, the road division, we have a vacancy, we've been trying to fill that, and we did some interviews previously, and the name I need to bring forward for hire, he's passed the background investigation that we do and all the other necessary steps. His name is Tyler Walker. So I would ask for a motion to permit me and the road supervisor, Mr. Graver, to proceed in getting him a start date and hire.
Just want to note that this is not a new hire, this is a replacement.
Correct.
Well, I mean, it is a new hire for an open position. We're not creating a position.
We're not
is what you're
creating a new
saying.
position.
Yeah. So moved.
Second? Roll call, please.
Barry Adler,
Yes.
Michael Davis is absent, Joe Kraft.
Yes.
And I'll turn it over to Mr. Snowden real quick for a brief update on the comp plan.
Mr. Adler, Mr. Kraft, last Wednesday evening, the consultant MKSK Studios held another in their series of open houses, which I thought was a big success. I appreciate Mr. Adler making the effort to come out and assist with the community dialogue and engagement. The process at this point is that the plan, the 3.0 draft will appear before the Township Zoning Commission on the 9th. That is per the Zoning Commission setting a hearing on that. LUC, Regional Planning Commission, is still crafting, the comments are still working its way through the full commission because of the length and for all those reasons that are completely understandable. So I would expect that the Zoning Commission will have to continue their hearing at least until January to hear from LUC and go from there. But that's where the process is at this point. So it's a very exciting time. Once the following this upcoming Zoning Commission hearing, I expect MKSK to do a revised version based on the comments both from LUC, from the Zoning Commission, from the public, from other stakeholders that have been had over the last couple months. So they're crafting a preliminary strategy now, but they won't be able to finalize their revision strategy until they've met with the Zoning Commission at least once in the hearing.
So you're suggesting that they would do some revisions after they met with the zoning commission?
That's what I'm expecting, but that's also up to the Zoning Commission. So we have to have that dialogue with the Zoning Commission as well.
Appreciate your efforts in trying to move this on through.
Yep.
Looking
So-
forward to more final version.
Yes, sir, it's all for the good of the township. I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Eric.
That ends my report.
Okay, let's move on then to old business. I have none in front of me. New business, item A is an approval for contract for professional services. Mr. Stanley, would you like to explain this?
Yes, we, as you know, the board previously approved, and we have moved forward, and we're all the way to the end of the design phase for a new road department building, which will be built right out here in this side yard, hopefully get this done in '25. Working through all that now, we're towards the end. The county building department is reviewing the plans as we speak. And so as we move through anything that needs corrected on that or any issues that arise out of that, we'll be very, very close now of going out to bid for a contractor to be ultimately selected to build it. That phase is a whole separate thing of itself. There's clearly rules that have to be followed for the bidding process, and I'll be spearheading that on your behalf as well. Previously, you'd also approved the Township Fiscal Officer, Mr. Caldwell, and I to work through the bonds issue to get the financing for it. That's already been done as well. So as we were looking forward, what this looks like once the ground is broke and they start construction, we talked internally as a team, and I was not comfortable, and neither was the road department staff, in trying to supervise that work on a day in or week in, week out basis. So we've begun asking a lot of questions of other entities in the area that have done recent projects. And although there were some variables with each of them that were somewhat different, the common theme was that most of them did either have what they call a construction manager, a site manager, someone overseeing it on behalf of the local government. So what I'm bringing forward to you tonight is reach back out to the architect that did the design work. They also do what he refers to as, I can't think of the word here without looking at it, apologize, observation. They call it construction observation. And they know what they're talking about. They would know if materials don't match what we're asking for. They would know if the dimensions are off, those kinds of things. So this is a quote you should have in your folder there from Jack D. Walters and Associates. And the total projected up to, not to exceed, is $11,960. And that figures in what he believes to be just sporadic visits to the site. It's nothing daily, and that's exactly what we were looking for. We thought it was overkill to expect somebody to be here every day of construction. I just didn't think it was necessary. No one did. So I would urge the board to move forward on this so we can get this in place and ultimately be ready when we do select a construction company.
Discussion, Jim? I guess.
Looks like they would be visiting the site weekly, probably with yourself and Vince there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I had a building project one time, and I hired a professional engineer to have weekly visits with myself and the builder because I didn't really know about building, and the professional engineer person did. These guys are more than qualified. They have good reputation in the area.
Good, and I'm assuming that you've had discussions with our fiscal officer that this fits within the budget.
It does.
And I know that some other concerns have come up recently, and hopefully that budget will still be within the bond regulations.
Yeah. Okay. We have some work to do still, but yes.
Do you feel this is anything that Wesleyan would oppose? I don't want to. Have you had any discussions
with the?
No, and I think it's been out there long enough of what we were doing amongst the board. I tried to keep you guys in the loop of my concerns. You can almost envision the building standing over here, but yet I would never know if the electrical wiring was right or not. And so that was kind of that's the best example I could give where I'm not an electrician, don't want to be, and that's a skill that somebody has to have eyes on that. So it just protects everything of our investment with taxpayer money. I think it's money well spent.
Are you okay with this, Barry, or do you have any
These fees
questions?
are they comparable to other construction manager fees?
I didn't dig into all the other fees, and it was somewhat hard to do that anyway, because some folks build it into their overall cost, and, you know, in hiring some, you know, the architect or engineering work. So, yeah.
Okay, well, I do think this is a necessary
Okay.
part of the construction.
So I'd like to move that, give Brandon permission to engage Jack Walters and Associates for total projected cost up to not to exceed $11,960.
I'd just like to pose one more stipulation that this, since it is a consulting agreement, that it be reviewed by legal.
Sure.
If it hasn't already,
Yeah.
before we finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that.
Okay. I second the motion. Roll call, please.
Barry Adler,
Yes.
Leslie Davis is absent, Joe Kraft.
Yes.
I will add, Mr. Adler, to your question, to your comment, that legal was the one who advised us to do this. So they're aware, they have not reviewed, I don't remember them reviewing this, but I will have them look.
And any financial agreement of that
Yep.
amount, we should.
Agreed, thank you.
Okay, moving right along, next item on our agenda is a discussion of the zoning text amendment regarding cannabis land use. Mr. Snowden, would you like to present a summary of the work that we've done to move this thing along?
Mr. Adler, Mr. Kraft, the board several months ago tasked my office with drafting, with one, cooperating with the LUC Regional Planning Commission on this issue, and two, drafting a text amendment, ultimately to allow these land uses in the township. What you have in front of you is a draft that I have worked closely, and I want to again thank Mr. Adler for his leadership on this issue. It's been extremely helpful in getting us to the point where we are. I'd just like to say two things. One, adult use cannabis and medical marijuana land uses are two different things, but they're regulated and defined by the state very similarly. In short, what you have there at the beginning is just a package of definitions. Those definitions are all based on state law. Those are not Jerome Township's or LUC's definitions. Those are the state's definitions. And then I have made some recommendations as to where these uses should be allowed as conditional uses, which zoning districts. And the normal thing about many communities are doing this is a new area, so I can't talk in depth, but it's a new regulatory area for Ohio. But most communities, if they're allowing these land uses at all, are making them conditional uses so that the Board of Zoning Appeals is reviewing a site plan at the time of development. And then in the last section are just basically identical sections on just general regulations for these particular uses that LUC helped craft. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Given that the board has not had a lot of time with this, I certainly concur with Mr. Adler's, what he and I have discussed, which is we're not asking the board to initiate an amendment or do anything tonight. We're just simply putting this kind of out into the universe for discussion. These documents, these red lines are all public record. I'd be happy to continue to answer questions about them, or folks can request them from my office. Once the board is satisfied that they have a draft that they're comfortable with, I will bring a resolution before the board to initiate the amendment, or the board could just direct me to take it in front of the Township Zoning Commission for initiation. At that point, the reviewing process would start. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
And one key thing to note in here is that the conditional uses are restricted to two specific districts. RR, which is regional retail, is where Eric is recommending a cannabis dispensary for both medical and adult use, be permitted by conditional use permit. And then in the commercial district would be for cultivation, processing of both adult use and medical marijuana.
The Commerce District, and the reason is because that is our most intense industrial district. And this mirrors what, again, this is a new regulatory area, so we don't have a lot of, models out there, but this is the same thing that most communities have done over the course of the last couple of years, at least with the medical marijuana. Columbus did an almost identical thing in terms of where these uses are allowed. They're just not conditional uses under their system. It's a slightly different system in that regard.
Any questions, Joe, or discussion?
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
Well, look forward to it.
Any other questions from the township administrator? Any public questions, comments?
Well, we want to continue to hear that dialogue, Mr. Adler.
I would like to continue this until we have our third trustee here.
Sure.
Also, see if any objections or problems with this. But I'm comfortable moving forward with this at this time. But let's continue it until our next meeting to make any decisions.
I will touch base with you and Mr. Stanley when we're preparing the board's next agenda, and we can place it on as a discussion item as well. But I'll have the resolution ready in the event the board wants that.
Maybe old business at the next.
If, I don't disagree with you. Good order in the meetings, right? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Under new business, we've got an item that we were going to discuss first in executive session, so let's delay that public discussion until after we have the executive session.
I agree.
It's okay with you? Okay with you also, Joe? Because it involves some negotiation amounts. Okay. I'm going to move on to announcements at this point. The township offices will be closed on Thursday, November 28th, and Friday, November 29th, 2024, for the Thanksgiving holiday. We will reopen on Monday, December 2nd, 2024, at 8 a.m. If you would like to receive notifications regarding the Board of Trustees meetings, please email the township office at jerometownship@jerometownship.com. There's currently a vacancy for an alternate position on the Board of Zoning Appeals. We are currently accepting applications for this position. Please visit the township's website to fill out an application. What we're going to do at this point then is I'll entertain a motion for executive session, and we'll reconvene and finish our discussion on the new business item for the township easement. I move to enter into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 for the purpose of considering employment of a public employee or official, and Ohio Revised Code 121.22G2 to consider the sale or other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property in accordance with Section 505.10 of the Revised Code. If premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive advantage or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the general public interest. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Joe Craft?
Yes.
Time is 9:22. We're going into
The time is 8:18. I move that we adjourn executive session. Sorry.
Second? Roll call?
Gary Adler,
Yes.
Leslie Jesus, absent, Joe Kraft.
Yes.
You push the button.
Yes, I did.
Hey Deb, did you push the button?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good.
Brandon's got the button also, that ends the executive session, the live stream.
Hey Brandon, did you push the button?
Thank you, Joe. Okay, we're getting back to item 12C, Township Hall easement. After discussion, I'd like to move that we designate our township administrator, Brandon Stanley, to negotiate on the easement right in front of the Township Hall, and hopefully we will get something back by the next meeting where all three of the trustees can vote on a final settlement now, and that any agreement also would need to be run by legal and make sure legal
The language of the
language
agreement.
is legal and acceptable.
Second.
Roll call?
Gary Adler,
Yes.
Leslie Jesus, absent, Joe Kraft.
Yes.
If there's no other comments from the audience, or anybody else have anything, Joe, anything?
No.
Good, okay. I move that the meeting be adjourned. Time is 8:20.
Second.